One of the main things that pointed out to me in the book was Whitey Herzog. So everybody who doesn't know, Whitey Herzog managed the Cardinals, the Royals. But before that, could you tell us about Whitey Herzog in that part of the book and the players that he helped bring in?
Yeah, I mean, he was totally against the Nolan Ryan trade. And I think the Mets traded Leroy Stanton in that deal too, who was a big time prospect, for Jim Fregosi. And I mean, when I think about that interview now, it's been over, I guess it's been close to 3 years since we spoke to him. That's the thing that really stands out, and how he's still upset about that trade today, and how really, he should have been the one that succeeded Gil Hodges. People were really surprised when Yogi Berra was named the manager. And, of course, Whitey went on to become a Hall of Famer based on his managing. He did such a phenomenal job with the Royals and then the Cardinals, and then became a general manager. And but people forget, I mean, his earliest days were with the Mets, with, scouting, and was the farm director. And he was a tremendous part of building the Miracle Mets into what they were. And that certainly was not lost on people like Gil Hodges. Whitey, a lot of credit for developing these guys and scouting. And so Whitey Herzog is a huge part of that 69 Mets story.
And you also mentioned Yogi Berra. I think if you have not read the book with Art Shamsky, you have to just go and read the portions about Yogi Berra being the hitting coach and never coaching anything that has to do with hitting. Great stories in there about that.
Well, the thing about Yogi was he was the most notorious bad ball hitter maybe in baseball history. He wasn't a tall guy. I think when he played, he was like 5'10", maybe 5'9", which is really small for a catcher. And I mean, he would swing at pitches out of the strike zone all the time. So when you talk about the choice for a hitting coach, and of course he doubled as a first base coach, I mean, he was probably the worst choice you could ever make. He truly was a see the ball, hit the ball kind of coach. And that's not teaching hitters anything. You're supposed to lay off the bad pitches. It was Ted Williams who would say, get a good pitch to hit and hit it slightly up. But I mean, Berra was just like, see it, hit it. And so he was not a big help to the 69 Mets as far as hitting advice goes.
Did the guys talk fondly of him, or was it?
It's interesting. They all liked him. I mean, and they all respected the fact that Yogi Berra was a Hall of Famer, and won. I don't know. Did he win like 10 championships? I think he has 10 He had 10 rings or something like that. I mean, the respect was there, but I got the sense that for his teaching ability, there wasn't a whole lot of admiration for what he could teach them. But they all liked him, obviously. Everyone loved Yogi. But yeah, I got that sense that that they really respected Gil, and they respected Yogi for what he had done and what he had accomplished as a player. Maybe not as much as a coach, and then later on as a manager.
With Gil Hodges that you just spoke about. So the one thing I took away in the book, and I didn't know fully, was how stern Gil Hodges was. He was very focused on the game, eyes out, looking at the field all the time. Maybe not so friendly to the players all the time, but he treated everybody the same, and it seems like they all respected him.
Oh my God! I mean, they were afraid of him, And it's interesting. The first year he was the Mets manager, which was in 1968. He was just kind of feeling things out. He wasn't really a disciplinarian that first year. Of course, he came from Washington, where he was successful, but didn't win a pennant with them, obviously. But in '69, they knew from day one of spring training that he really believed in the team and believed that they could have a winning record, which might not sound, very optimistic it's just, yeah, we're going to try to have a winning record. But when you look at where the Mets had been from 62 through 68, their first 7 years of existence, they had either been in last place by a long shot or in ninth place out of 10 teams by half a game. So they were really, a dreadful organization up to that point. But Gil really believed in that team heading into 69. And he had a military background, and everyone, including Seaver, they didn't want to walk by his office for fear that he would pull them in. So he ran that team kind of like a military unit. But they still loved him. And even the players that were platooned, and they had platoons at 5 positions. At first base, you had Clendenin and Cranepool. Second base, you had Boswell and Weiss. Third base, you had Ed Charles and Wayne Garrett. And in right field, you had Swoboda and Shamsky. And then at the catcher's position, they had 3 catchers. So Brody saw most of the action. But then you had J.C. Martin and Duffy Dyer, too. And so you had really, it wasn't conducive to players putting up big numbers, which back in those days, of course, would lead to bigger contracts. So these guys, it was affecting their income and their livelihoods, but they knew it was working, and they respected Gil. And Gil was just a wonderful chess master at getting guys in and out of lineups. And so they loved and respected him for that, and they loved winning. And what they pulled off in 69, of course, was nothing short of a miracle.
What do you think his Hall of Fame chances are?
If he doesn't make it this next year, he never will. There is such a fervor behind getting him in. And I think he's got a 50-50 shot. That's what I think. A lot of years have gone by, but I think I think it's 50-50. And I wish I could say it would be more. I think just as a player, I talked to Seaver about this, and he said, just don't look at his numbers, but, look at the influence that he had on Jackie Robinson and making him feel welcome. Everyone talks about what Pee Wee Reese did for Jackie Robinson, but Gil Hodges was a tremendous advocate for Jackie, supporting him personally, as well as defending him to the media and protecting him against racist fans and media. And but his numbers as a player, you could make the case he was the best first baseman of the decade of the 50s. And then you add the fact that he managed the 69 Mets and turning that organization around. I think that puts him over the top. And anyone that ever played with him or played under him would agree.